Hey guys, so this season is on the Psalms. So I asked people over social media, what's your favourite Psalm and why? And one of the first responses that I had back was Psalm 139 because it reminded them how intimately God knows you. And there were some other great answers too. Psalm 121 reminded one person that God always has their back. Another person said Psalm 24 because they always feel God's power and might. I wonder if you have a favourite psalm or a current favourite psalm, because often psalms speak into the season we're currently in. Maybe you'd like to share your favourite psalm and why in the comments below. I've had some annual leave this week and I've been pondering which psalm I would share with you. And then our granddaughter was born on Thursday and it felt right to land on Psalm 139, in particular verses 13 to 17. Perhaps you'd like to pause the video and read Psalm 139, focusing on verses 13 to 17. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll know that I suggest that if you're spending time with God, trying to get to know Him, trying to understand His Word, which is just one of His gifts to us, that one method would be this, that you read over the portion of Scripture in its entirety. Get to know the flavour of it, its overview. Then read it again a few times. Pause and ask God to show you what He wants to say to you today. Read it again slowly. Underline the part or parts that you feel speak out to you. Then maybe write it out and ask God, what would you like to say to me through these verses? Listen out for an impression, a feeling, or a word and jot it down. Then test that against the rest of Scripture, the rest of the Bible. Is this the sort of thing that God does and says? Maybe ask a trusted Christian friend, does this seem right to you? Then turn it into a prayer, a response to God. I'd love to hear how you get on with this tool. Anyway, on with Psalm 139. Let's use this method and you can see my train of thought as I used it. I'm not going to read the whole of Psalm 139, but I will summarise my overview, which was God is always near and He knows everything about me, both good and bad. As I read it, I felt unworthy of such a relationship. Like many saints before me, I threw myself down before the holiest of holies. I felt unworthy in His presence. I know that in my own strength, in my own right, I am not worthy. But because God invited me to be His own, because Jesus died for me on the cross, I can stand before Him unashamed. All my wrongdoing has been washed away. So the next time I reread the psalm through, I felt incredibly blessed. I felt loved. I felt treasured and secure. I paused to ask God what He wanted to say to me specifically today. And as I came to verse 13, I underlined it and I kept underlining it to verse 17, and it says this: You are the one who put me together inside my mother's body, and I praise you because of the wonderful way you created me. Everything you do is marvellous, of this I have no doubt. Nothing about me is hidden from you. I was secretly woven together deep in the earth below. But with your own eyes you saw my body being formed. even before I was born. You had everything. You had written in your book everything I would do. Your thoughts are far beyond my understanding and much more than I could imagine. I chewed over it, rereading those verses, asking God what he wanted to say to me through those verses. And I had these two impressions. Firstly, I felt God say, you are not a mistake. Maybe you need to hear that today. You are not a mistake. I put you together, God says. I created you, wove you together. You are not a mistake. Secondly, I felt God wanted me to explore the awe and wonder of the creation of our new granddaughter, to really communicate to God how incredible the design and concept of the embryo and fetus is, to kind of luxuriate in the awe and wonder of the process of this tiny person coming into being, and to give him, God, all the credit he was due, all the praise and glory. Next, I asked myself the question, does this seem in line with the rest of Scripture? Followed by the response, which in this case was a prayer of thanksgiving for his assurance to me and for the gift of his creation and the design process. I really hope that this was helpful to you. I pray that God will bless you, and I look forward to hearing some of your responses about how you found this tool to use. God bless and goodbye. See you next time.